The good news is at least the Red Wings have already made a pick, so we know Yzerman's not wasting any more time than he... Well, he doesn't waste time usually, but it'll just be, player name, get the hell off the stage.
I think this is Sandin Pellikka.
That's my guess as well.
And you know what? I love the pick too. They walk away.
I'll be
Sandin
thrilled
Pellikka.
with that pick. I mean, this is right around the same part of the draft Erik Karlsson's picked.
You're gonna drive me nuts. And you know what? I hope Erik Karlsson gets traded soon, so we don't have to do the Erik Karlsson.
You know what? I hope we pick Sandin Pellikka and then trade for Erik Karlsson.
Oh God.
There's our 2 right shot D below Moritz Seider. Sandin Pellikka, Pro, Oliver Moore. I'm thrilled with any of them.
Yeah.
Colby Barlow would be great.
Yeah, I think they take their solution.
A lot of guys on the board that fill immediate holes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of what Detroit needs available right now at probably best players available.
Here we go. Sandin Pellikka. Sandin Pellikka, there we go.
Wow, nice pick.
I'm very, very happy with that pick.
Okay, Seider, Sandin Pellikka, and that is not Yzerman's MO for a defenseman.
No.
I love that pick on the...
Sandin Pellikka is not, and we talked about this at length, he is not your typical sub-6-foot offensive defenseman. This guy competes 200 feet of the ice. He is good defensively. Like, he's not Reinbacher levels in the defensive zone.
No.
But he is the best offensive defenseman in this draft, and it's not close. He is a solid 200-foot defenseman. He is excellent in transition. This is exactly the type of defenseman the Red Wings needed and do not have anywhere in their system.
Brad, you and I both had Sandin Pellikka rated higher even than David Reinbacher.
Yes.
So
this is my top-rated defenseman in the draft.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal. At 17?
At 17, that's excellent value. That is a replacement not only for Filip Hronek, that is a buffer for Moritz Seider.
Yeah, this is if all goes according to plan, this is the power play quarterback for the next 10 years in Detroit. Yeah. That is his potential.
Then if you need a defenseman on both power plays, you have Seider on power play 2, or
Sandin Pellikka should be power play 1, Seider should be power play 2,
exactly.
as the organization is structured right now.
Exactly.
And because of the way he plays all over the ice, this is not a small defenseman you need to shelter.
Yeah.
You put this guy on the second pairing with Edvinsson, come on, that's unreal. Wallman, Seider, Edvinsson, Sandin Pellikka, and then who the hell ever you want on the bottom pair, Wallinder and Johansson. Dude, that is a blue line.
Yeah.
That is a blue line.
The Red Wings blue line's turnaround is looking like that top 4 or 5 players they should have coming out now is going to be, it should be so good.
Their D is unreal. My only criticism of this first round is I still have questions about where the goals are coming from in the future. But Danielson has offense, and Sandin Pellikka was the best offensive option from the blue line.
What do you think is, in my mind, I think Axel Sandin Pellikka is a better value at 17, value gained compared to where I rank the player, than Danielson was a reach at 9.
I mean, yeah, I had Sandin Pellikka ranked higher than Danielson, so.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, let's do it. Let's break it down. Full profile on Axel Sandin Pellikka. Where does he clock in at size? I think just a shade under 5'11", 175 pounds. Right shot defenseman. Tell us about his game, and let's go over this.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the strengths right away. He is the best offensive defenseman in this draft. Full stop. There is nobody in this draft who is better at creating offense from the blue line than him. He's a power play quarterback, excellent at it. He's got great vision in the O-zone. Sneaky shot, excellent in transition. This is a guy who is very, very capable and very strong at getting the puck to the net in all scenarios. And again, he's only 5'10", 5'11". But he is very responsible, very competitive, busts his ass on the ice. This is not a guy you're throwing out on the ice and hoping he's not a defensive liability.
It's okay, as someone who has, watched the Danielson pick and watch, the connections to Hanzik or whoever else, there's folks, a chorus of folks, and I don't think they're wrong necessarily to be concerned, but who are concerned of, is there a limit to offensive upside here? And to me, it's not relieving, because I think it was my prediction of what the pick was going to be, but it's good to see the Red Wings see that kind of offensive talent that you just described, Brad, at 17, and they went for it. Evan, your reactions to the pick?
Yeah, really good pick. like you guys, he was my top-rated, I'll say, offensive defenseman. But when most people think, offensive defenseman, that means he can't play defense. He actually plays exceptionally strong defense. He's not your typical big bruiser who, separates man from puck, but he's actually exceptionally strong along the boards and can defend well on either side of the blue line. Very good skater, especially transitionally. He's got a sneaky good shot, so it kind of makes him a dual threat as a power play quarterback. He can distribute to his line mates or take the shot himself. Obviously fills a direct position of need for the Red Wings. I really like it. Was he my top defenseman in this draft? No, I had Reinbacher higher, but that was for a completely different reason. I see Reinbacher right now as an extremely well-rounded defenseman. I think Axel Sandin Pellikka has a very high ceiling in the NHL. If he just rounds out his defensive game, even just a shade, I see top power play quarterback potential in his game.
Something I also want to call out, and it was pointed out to me, I think, by Scott Wheeler initially, is that people conflated him being small for not strong, but he doesn't play small.
No.
And I really like that for players who don't have a big frame. And he's not tiny, like 5'11", whatever. He might grow a little bit more. But if you don't play small, then that's really what matters. And Detroit has a big, lengthy blue line. They have guys who have good reach. And Sandin Pellikka has, I think, the skating and tenacity to pretty much offset anything that's a concern in terms of physicality. The way he gets pucks through in the offensive zone, the way he walks the blue line, the way he puts the puck in transition, and the way he thinks the game offensively, to me, I am thrilled with this pick.
He's a great puck moving defenseman too, something that the Red Wings are slowly coming around on. But he can skate the puck, he can pass the puck to his outlets. He's a high skilled defenseman. He's not going to be perfect defensively, I don't think, but he's not going to be a gaping black hole kind of thing. I think I think his defense is an improvement over what we have on the team right now.
Oh, 100%. And if you consider the Red Wings and the makeup of their defense, essentially Seider has to play 26 minutes a night for them to have a chance most nights.
Yeah.
They got rid of Filip Hronek, who was having a banner year for the Red Wings, and they needed a replacement for that. Now, Sandin Pellikka is not going to come over next year.
No.
Barring something crazy happening. Colby Barnes.
Oh, also, one note I forgot, Axel Sandin Pellikka was the U18 top defenseman at that tournament.
Oh, that's right. He was.
Yep.
Well, we'll do a little bit of a repeat of the profile, the player, how you felt about the pick, honestly, and where he fits into the lineup. Axel Sandin Pellikka at 17.
Oh, I love that pick.
Yeah.
I love the pick. I had him as my top-rated defenseman. I think I had him 11th on my rankings. Ironically, yeah, Danielson was a 6-pick reach where the Red Wings picked him on my board, and Pellikka was a 6-pick surplus because he was 6 picks higher. I had him 6 higher than 17, so it all balances out. Definitely the highest upside of any defenseman in this draft. Exactly what the Red Wings need on the blue line. Someone who can quarterback the power play and bring some legit offense from the blue line. Seider has it, but beyond Seider, there's nobody's scoring on that blue line. Hopefully Wallander can bring some of it. But again, just as we've talked about, despite being a sub 6-foot defenseman, good defensively, tons of compete, not afraid to play physical, battles in his own zone, so he's not a liability out there like a lot of smaller offensive defensemen tend to be. So, very well-rounded defenseman. Not without the big hits, not a super dissimilar profile to Cronwall.
Yeah.
Because Cronwall wasn't huge, but he was good defensively. I think Sandin Pellikka should have a bit more offense than Cronwall did, and obviously doesn't have quite the physical element, but
just saying a lot.
Yeah, so something along those lines. But yeah, no, I was really, really happy with the Sandin Pellikka pick.
Yeah, agree with you, Brad. You and I both had him just a shade over Reinbacher in our personal rankings, which makes me happy that the Red Wings ended up with him, and that's all offensive upside. Moves the puck extraordinarily well. That kind of potential to be the power play quarterback that the Red Wings lack, especially with Hronek being traded. Again, there's a little bit of poetry there for Sandin Pellikka to be picked with with the pick they got from the Hronek trade with Vancouver that they got from the Islanders. And yeah, he doesn't play like a small player. Like I know he's not 6'5", 6'6", like the rest of the Redwoods on the Red Wings blue line. But he plays with a physical game. He doesn't play like a small player, so I don't think he's going to get pushed around. I don't think you have to worry about him being a useless defender because he shies away from board battles. That's not his profile at all. He plays with tenacity, and the offensive upside for me is exactly what you want to see, considering the whole left, not just by Hronek, but they needed that on their blue line anyways. Ideal, like high upside in my mind. This is a guy who could make a lot of noise, and I think a very reasonable outcome is that he's your bona fide everyday second pair right D if things go well for him, and then your first pair on the power play quarterback. So Seider needed support in terms of the ice time being played. The right side of the Red Wings defense needed help, and Sandin Pellikka's offensive upside was too good to pass up. He could have gone at pick 9. I would have been happy. So yeah, at 17, thrilled.
You reverse the picks. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Right?
That's kind of how I'm trying to make myself feel right now on it. Yeah, I don't know really what else to say on Sandin Pellikka. He's excellent in transition. He's an excellent skater. He's not a burner by any means, but he's certainly got that four-way mobility that you'd look for in a offensive-type defenseman. And he's got a great shot. He can distribute the puck as well. So in terms of offense, nothing really to not like about it. We'll need to add some mass to deal with NHL players in the defensive end and not be bottled out physically. But he's good along the boards. In front of the net is a different animal, especially at the NHL level, and especially from coming over from overseas. But I mean, he's probably has 2 years to figure that out, so no real rush on that. I definitely like the pick. I had him as my second rated defenseman over with David Reinbacher at number 1, but for 2 totally different reasons. If you're going to go and swing for someone who has first pairing potential, like elite level talent, I think Sandin Pellikka probably edges him out there.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockeytown Evan.